What's up and welcome back, treasure hunters. So today I'm going to show you some more thrift store finds, including some really cool art that I found at a thrift store that was a little bit further from my house. I don't know, for whatever reason, the thrift stores that I usually go to haven't been too fruitful in finding treasures. So I went a little bit further out and ended up finding some really cool pieces of art. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to show you today is this oil painting on canvas. It's unframed. I'll drop it down a bit. But it just showcases, it's really cool. It showcases two old clipper ships battling out at sea. It's pretty detailed, really nicely done. These kind of works always catch my eye. I like nautical paintings like this. I like ship paintings. So I always notice them right away, but you can see on the top here, it is stapled. So it's not an antique or anything, but I would say it's probably done in the 60s to 80s, maybe. Just a guess, but it is signed at the bottom, Ambrose, and it's kind of in the water, so it's hard to read. It's down in this corner. But I picked this up at a Goodwill for, it was like 15 or 16 bucks, I think. And I just did a quick Google search on, like nautical oil painting or ship painting or signed Ambrose. It's John Ambrose, comes up in a lot of different listings and such. His work sells for a decent amount of money. I noticed listings anywhere from $150 to, upwards of like $300 or $400, just given, I guess, what the painting is of. He did a lot of just like clipper ships out of the water, but this one's kind of cool because they're actually firing cannons at each other. So it's a little bit different, and it is on the larger side. I believe it was like 35 inches when I measured it across, or 36 inches. And it's in pretty good condition. There's some cracking at the top, a little bit in the paint, and a little bit of paint looks like maybe rubbed off where the stretcher is behind it. But overall, like the stretcher's not, or the canvas isn't stretched out anywhere where it makes like those lumps. And there's no holes or anything. So that's always good. So this is a real good find. I think I already posted this one. So I was happy to find this. My next treasures here, I found a pair of these smaller framed, I think these are lithographs. They're really small. It's only like 3 by 3 inches. But I found a pair of these in like matching frames at Goodwill for only $5.09 a piece. And the frames are pretty hefty. And on the back here, you can see they're framed really well. Even have this foam or whatever to keep everything in place. So the glass is nicely done, and I don't know how many mats they used here. I didn't count, but there's plenty. And it's signed Dunlap, and this one is titled Omega, and it's just kind of a mid-century abstract piece. And I just thought it looked really cool. The first thing that caught my eye was the frame, just because it is hefty, and then with all the matting and stuff, that's not something you see too often. So, it was obviously custom framed. I just did, it's real easy to read the Dunlap, and I just did a quick Google search on that and found some similar pieces of his or her work. I think it said C Dunlap. I didn't get a first name out of that, but just one of these was listed or even sold at auction for like $110. So I grabbed that. And the other one here is super similar in nature. It's, I think they might be kind of like a mirror image of each other. And this one's titled Phi and also signed Dunlap. So obviously they're meant to be together. So obviously I'm going to sell them together, and it's easier to ship that way anyway. So these were pretty cool. I tend to sell abstract stuff pretty well just because it is different and people like mid-century type of art. So I don't think I'll have a problem selling the pair for probably around like $200. My next treasure here is another piece of art. And that's, I think, pretty much most of the stuff I found was art related. I didn't find too many other things, but this one I got at the Savers, and it was actually priced way higher than I thought. It's $39.99. But this is an original watercolor, and it is signed down here, Lebowitz. It obviously is just a bouquet of flowers, kind of like in a, it's not like realism or anything, but kind of a little bit of abstract, I guess. I'm not really sure, but the frame's really nice. It's hefty. There were no markings or anything on the back, except there is a gallery sticker here at the bottom, or a professional custom framing sticker. And then there is the True View museum glass or UV resistant glass or whatever you want to call it. And that's a really good indicator that the artwork probably holds some value, because the stuff, like getting it framed like that, is not cheap. But the frame itself is in really good condition. It is signed in pencil. And I did search this in the store because I was just going to buy it, but for $40, I'm not just going to not do a little bit of research. This was done by Anne Lebowitz. And I didn't find any of her stuff at auction, but I did find a couple listings, and also on her website, she had a lot of sold pieces, and her work actually sold, some of her pieces on her website at least sold over $2,000, or, it's pretty expensive. So I picked this up. I don't know how easy it'll be able to sell this, just given the lack of third-party sales, like on even eBay or any of the auction sites. I didn't come up with anything. There were some stuff for sale, but I didn't have subscriptions, so I couldn't see what it sold for. I'll probably just price this at the higher end and keep knocking it down until I can hopefully sell it. Here's another piece I found, which is also abstract piece. It's like mixed media. There's some kind of, I don't know, cloth, or some kind of, linen cloth or something on here to give it some texture in certain spots, but obviously very abstract. There's even still tape around the edges. I didn't want to peel it off because I didn't want to ruin anything, but there's still tape around the edges. So this actually came in had a big piece of matting plastic over it, and I didn't see a signature on this, and even if there was, it'd be pretty hard to read just given all the scribbles and everything else on here. But when I picked this up just because, it was on this matting and stuff, so it had to have come from, it wasn't just like a student piece or something. It had to have come from, some sort of gallery or an artist's studio or something like that. So I figured I'd take a chance. It was $6.19 at Goodwill. It's fairly, it's pretty standard size, I guess. And when I took it out of the matting on the bottom, it was covered by the picture like in the store, but it did say the Dennis Conley gallery. So I did do some research. I think he's pretty local to where I live in Ohio. And I didn't find a whole lot of pieces for sale or any kind of like pricing. But I imagine, if he has his own gallery and stuff, I imagine it's got to have some sort of value more than $6. So it still was a good buy. I probably will leave this unframed and just ship it in the matting and plastic, because that way whoever buys it can frame it however they want, and they can take the tape off and take that chance, because I don't want to do it and screw something up. So my next find I picked up more because when I find stuff like this, this is obviously an American flag, but it's made of like a canvas or cloth type material. It's not, this is an older flag, not like antique or anything, but it is older compared to, you know, the store-bought nylon flags or whatever. The stars, you know, are sewn on. Everything is, you know, sewn together probably by hand, but using a sewing machine. So I imagine all the other ones are sewn, you know, all by a machine. There's even like these little ropes to tie it to whatever, but I tend to pick up stuff like this because it's really a large flag. I'm not going to unfold the whole thing, but it's a larger flag. And, you know, seeing this stuff like a flag like this at the thrift store, I pick it up anyway, just because I don't really want it to just be tossed out. Because if it doesn't sell for whatever reason, you know, they'll probably just, the people there probably won't care and just throw it in the garbage. So I picked this stuff either way. I don't even know if I'm going to sell this because it's pretty cool. I do need to clean it. There's a big, I don't know, dirt stain, water stain kind of thing on it. But it was only $8.19. Still got the tag on it. But just something I like to do when I find stuff like this, especially an American flag, just to pick it up and, you know, hopefully use it somehow. I wouldn't hang this outside because it would get ruined. It's not, I don't know, it would probably get torn pretty easily. So this would definitely be, if I can find space, could hang it on the wall or something. Pretty cool old flag. Next thing I found here was at Goodwill. I think this was $5. And this is I imagine this is probably early 20th century. It's just a face and it's got these 3D, they look like shells or barnacles or something. But it's kind of cool. On the bottom, it is stamped made in Portugal and does have 555 on the bottom. The only issue, there's like one of these little things broken off on this side and on this side. And usually I don't buy stuff that is broken, but given, I don't know, the overall look of this, and I did do some quick searches. I don't really see a maker's mark on this. There might be one. So I don't really know, who made this, like what company or whatever. But I did do like antique luster glazed Portuguese pottery or all that stuff. And I found some listings and they're all listed for over $100. But given the damage to this, I don't know. I just need to post this to one of the like European pottery groups and see if anybody could recognize a maker. But for $5, I definitely think I would be able to, even with the damage, because it's not super noticeable. I'd be able to make $50. Here's my next treasure that I found. And this is an oil painting on canvas, mid-century. And this is actually cubist art. It's by, and signed here down in the bottom, Gustavo Martinez. And I found this along with that ship painting I first showed you. And I got this one only for $6.19. I just did a quick search of Gustavo Martinez and came up with a bunch of different pieces that he did. And they were all, selling for a good amount of money, 400, 600, depending on what the subject was. But the canvas on this is in pretty good condition. It's almost like it's not as stiff as some of the other, like the canvas on the ship painting. It's kind of feels softer, like it's wavier. I don't know. There was a little bit of scratching like that over here where the stretcher starts. There's like a little scratch in the paint and up here in the corner. But overall, like the focal point of the piece is in good condition. There's just a little bit of like scratches around on the canvas, around the outside, which I don't think is like a huge deal or anything, especially given the age. And it's just in a, pretty plain wood frame. As soon as I saw this though, especially with how the signature's done down here, It was really easy to read and research, but this is the kind of art when I stress on, looking at unique art and stuff, this just like kind of jumped out at me as being like a real unique piece. Again, I got this for a little over $6, $6.19, I think. And I'll probably price this around $500 or $600 and then drop it down. I doubt I'll get that much, but I always start out when I first post things where I'm not exactly sure of the value, but I have a good idea. I'll start out on the higher side and then work my way down. Here's the last piece I'm going to show you. And this I also found along with the painting I just showed you and the ship painting. I found this one also at the same Goodwill. And this Goodwill was one of the one that was further from my house. So I was glad I made that trip. But this is a like mid-century Impressionist piece of houses and a dock and ship and stuff. I think it definitely needs cleaned. The frame was real dusty, and you can kind of feel too, like just the dust or dirt on it, but it's signed Barton. It'll be really hard to read down in the corner. And again, I just did a quick Google search. I can't remember the artist's first name off the top of my head, but it's in a pretty standard mid-century frame with this like canvas stripe. You see a lot of these types of frames, mid-century work. At first I thought this might have been kind of like the, furniture store type of art. When I looked a little bit closer at it, it just, had a different vibe, I guess. I picked this one up for, I think this one was like $11 or something. And his work, I did find a couple of eBay listings and some auction results, and all of his work was selling, between $100 and $200. So nothing super crazy or anything, but definitely a cool piece and a good pickup for only $11. I lied. I forgot a couple pieces that I had put aside, but here's another piece I found. I think I got this one at a Salvation Army, but this one was only $4.99, and it's just an etching of a road, some trees, and then a little town off in the distance. If I find etchings like this that are well done, I always end up grabbing them if they're not too much money. This one I could not read the signature, but it is dated 1952. I tend to always check out these thinner frames, these frames that look like this. A lot of the etchings that I found are in similar frames and pretty standard size for an etching also. So if you're sifting through the smaller artworks and stuff at the thrift store and you're looking just this way and you see these like thin wood frames, I always check these out because they tend to have older pieces, and sometimes they have just like prints, but the back is actually in pretty good condition. A lot of times with these, you'll see like the paper ripped off or whatever. You can also tell, it's dated 52, but you can see too, that's another giveaway when you're looking, is check out like the hardware on the back. And this is obviously the original old hardware. You can just kind of feel, the age to it, dirt and whatever else. But I just need to figure out what the artist name is on this, but still cool piece for only $5. Next thing I found is this lithograph of a couple manatees, and this one is a limited edition, and I can't figure out this signature either. It just looks like, scribbles. It looks like a couple M's or something like scribbled, but this is numbered 657 out of 1,000. There's nothing on the back, so no giveaway there. I'll just have to post this to an art group and see if I can uncover who the artist is, but it is dated 1987. Not super old, but still vintage. I just liked, I liked how how this is done, and I liked the manatees and stuff. And I have sold a lot of like coastal type of art like this that, you know, to places in Florida and whatever else. And I think this would be, you know, a good piece for somebody that might have like a beach house, or even like property to rent that are just decorating a beach house, or I don't know. This is only $5.09 at Goodwill. So I'll just have to also figure out the artist on this one. So this is the last piece I'm going to show you today. And this is an original painting here of obviously a parrot. And it's pretty cool, kind of like Art Deco feel, I guess. It's signed Robert Reinhart von Liske. And it's pretty easy to read down here in the corner. But I just did a quick Google search, and he had a lot of different types of work that, you know, all was sold for, you know, depending again what the art was. But I mean, it was selling anywhere from like $300 to some pieces upwards close to $1,000. This looks to be, this is the original frame. You know, the piece itself is in really good condition, very detailed and well done. I just really definitely caught my eye right away. I wasn't exactly sure though if this was a print or if it was an original piece. So I had to take a closer look, but you can see, well, I can see, it'll be really hard for you to see, but around the edges of like the leaves and different parts of the bird itself, you can see the paint itself, you know, just where there's a little bit of like outside the lines, like right here and stuff, where like a print, you'd be able to tell. And also like looking from my angle, you can tell that it is painted and not print. So I got this piece at a Goodwill probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I picked it up for $6.19, and the back's not in great shape. The paper's gone and stuff, but I think he primarily did his work in, you know, mid-century or early like 30s to 60s or 70s or something, I would imagine. So really cool piece of art here for $6.19. So those were some of my latest thrift store treasures that I got at Goodwill, Savers, and the Salvation Army. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to be coming out with another video. I got a lot of things at auction that recently came in, so I wanted to show you some different things that I found and got some value from. If you haven't checked it out yet, I just put out a video about how to find value on online auctions and estate sales. So check that out and let me know what you think. Also, I'd love to hear about any treasures you guys have found. So leave a comment below or post to my Facebook page, just /treasurehuntingdad, and share some of the stuff you guys have found. I am making some progress in my video series, so stay tuned for that. I should hopefully start wrapping some stuff up with that soon. Again, thank you for tuning in. I'll be back soon. And if you get out there, I wish you the best of luck. It's garage sale season, so keep your eye out and find some great treasures.